you know? After a while, you start thinking for the residents. You consider their needs and defend their sensibilities. The old lady couldn't possibly know that, of course, but it didn't matter. Part of the job is shielding tenants from ugliness and sorrow they haven't bought into. I turned around to see what George, my shift partner, was doing. My eyes landed on his sweeping white mustache. George was deep in the mailroom, his short arms lurching forward with every envelope and magazine that he plunged into a mail slot. It was my least favorite part of the shift, the hour I covered the passenger elevator and the front door while George sorted the mail. Always around 11 in the morning and right before lunch so I could earn my meal in full. Sometimes he lost himself flipping through the tenants' magazines, and that's when it would happen. The building would swamp me with deliveries, calls from residents, and rides on the elevator, and all at the same time. The old lady in front of the building was already the biggest curveball, but then she caught sight of an oncoming businesswoman. The suit and leather briefcase must have signaled to her to work harder because she raised the sign past her nose until it covered her eyes. The businesswoman rumbled past the old lady, whose cardboard face pivoted along with her. Nothing. No dollars or cents from the businesswoman. A stampede of tourists rolled past. None of them spared any change. I heard the old lady's cries from behind the cardboard as the barrage of chunky cameras and hiking backpacks marched past her on all sides. None of them stopped to read the sign. I come USA from Venezuela. Children in Queens. Please help. I let out a long sigh. The old lady had become a situation. She was no junior whom I tossed from the front door in a second flat. The old lady from Venezuela was different. She had come here to survive, not to live, and was barely succeeding at the former. I watched as she lowered the cardboard sign in front of a man in dark sunglasses and read her words aloud for him. He wore a fleece vest with his firm's logo embroidered on the chest. You never saw a finance bro with a faster sidestep. My heart plummeted for her. Building protocols started filing through my mind. Wait 4 rings before picking up the building phone. Always say Mr. or Miss or Mrs., except with Mr. O'Leary, who says we should call him Ben, but call him Mr. O'Leary anyway because you're his doorman, not his friend. Never compliment the ladies on their appearance. Always compliment Mrs. Lotman on her appearance. She's widowed, for Christ's sake. Keep the sidewalk in front of the door clear of everything and everyone. The old lady couldn't know that the narrow strip of sidewalk extending from the door to the street, all of it shaded by the green canopy, was sacred. It's the first thing residents see when they walk through the door I open for them. It's their launching pad. I sympathized. She was an old lady crying, and it was my job to make her disappear. Oh shit, I thought, watching the old lady get swarmed by tourists. Miss Hastings is out right now. Miss Hastings was a 50-something real estate heiress who had bought 2 apartments on the 13th floor and connected them to have ample space for herself and a female chihuahua named Geraldo. A native New Yorker, Hastings was a tough, no-nonsense lady who was as quick to laugh as she was to snap at a doorman who let his guard down. I glanced at my watch. Miss Hastings had been gone for 2 hours. She was a homebody and would return soon. The old lady was still outside, wailing and spinning around with her cardboard face like a drunk ballerina. If Miss Hastings saw her production, I'd get blamed for it. That's when I realized the quickest way to get rid of the old lady was to give her what she wanted, a few dollars. Hopefully, she'd take the cash and move on to the next block. Stepping out for some air, I shouted over my shoulder at George. I turned the lock and shoved the door forward, allowing the sounds of car horns, jackhammers, and pedestrians to tumble over me. Wallet in hand, I stepped onto the pavement and into the path of a stalled Jan Hastings. She had stopped in front of the building to observe the old lady. "Hi, Miss Hastings," I shouted, backpedaling into the building. I offered a broad smile, but she wasn't looking. Her attention was on the panhandler. "Beautiful day, eh, Miss Hastings?" I was prepared.